Today we'll do overall general exceptions in perspective to starting from, let us start from section 76 and so on, and we try to understand the concepts, basic concepts, what we can cover in 1.5 hour or 1 hour approximately. Try to cover maximum we can. So let us start with 76. Few are very easy and everybody among us knows what they are. Few needs a concept, out of which I have told one concept yesterday, and one concept, two or more concept will be discussed today also. Uh, but starting with 76, so that the easiest parts to go on. So we go into series today. So starting from section 76. So if you read section 76, everybody knows it's a mistake of fact bound by law. So I'm reading 76 and we'll try to relate 76 with 79, which says mistake of fact justified by law. So what is the difference between mistake of fact bound by law and mistake of fact justified by law? So let me read 76 first and try to find out the ingredients of 76. Then we will read 79 and try to find out the ingredients of 79. And thereafter, we will compare both these 76 and 79. So reading 76 first. Nothing is an offense which is done by a person who is, or who by reason of mistake of fact, and not by reason of mistake of law, in good faith believe himself to be bound by law. First of all, try to understand. Mistake of law is not a mistake of law, not a defense. This is the general thing you should know. It is whether it is anything. 76 is a mistake of fact, which is defense. Which is defense. So you are not aware about particular fact. You mistake the existence of a particular fact. That can be taken as a defense in the said section. But the defense that you don't know the particular law, that you're not aware about that particular type of law which is existing, this cannot be the defense. So existence of a particular law, knowing or not knowing of existence of a particular law cannot be a defense. So this 76 is mistake of fact, and this mistake of fact is what? Good faith. This good faith shows your intention of this. You must be acting in a good faith. Good faith, then they say bound by law. What do you mean bound by law? What do you mean by this word bound by law? This is important. This is this person who has committed the mistake, who was taking the defense under section 77, 76, believe himself to be bound by law. What do you mean by believe himself to be bound by law? When I say believe himself to be bound by law, what do you mean by believe himself to be bound by law? That means he presumed that a law bound him. It is, for example, a police officer. Police officer arrested the theft. The arrest of a theft is bound by law. If a police officer arrested a theft, he is bound by law. So I'm just giving an example, basic example of it. We'll come to it. So what do you mean by bound by law? When you flee something that a law make you bound, law make you do something, then you consider yourself bound by law. Okay, let me read into 79 and then we will compare both. What is the difference between bound by law and justified by law? If you read section 79, what section 79 says, if I read for you, section 79 says, nothing is an offense which is done by any person who is justified by law, or who by reason of mistake of fact and not by reason of mistake of law, in good faith believe himself to be justified by law. So this is section 79 also talk about mistake of fact. It is also mistake of fact. But here what is this? Justified by law. Justified by. Because this is a basic difference. So try to understand what do you mean by justified by law. If try to compare it, section 76 and section 79, two things are same. It's a mistake of fact. It is a mistake of fact. Okay. Plus good faith. So in both the condition, it is a mistake of fact. Mistake of law is not a defense. It is a mistake of fact done in good faith. But here, what they are saying, here they are using the word bound by law, or here they are using the word justified by law. Justified by law. We have to find out the difference. Up, try to understand. Let me pick up the example. A arrested B, believing him to be C. So A is a police officer who arrested C, believing him to be a C. This is what? This is a mistake of fact, and A is a person bound to arrest. Because why is arrest? Because this is a cognizable offense, is bound to arrest. आया समझ में? Another example. Let us pick up another example. I'm talking about mistake of fact. ठीक है? So let us take one more example. W is married to H. H is not known from last 7, let it be 8 years. Not known 8 years. W got married to H1. H appears. What has happened? Though obviously marrying H1 is a mistake of fact because she believes H to be dead. It is a mistake of fact. Obviously done in a good faith. Am I right or not? Okay. Up, try to understand. Try to understand the question. Here we will understand the justified by law and bound by law. Here, what is it? This woman is marrying what? To H1 after 8 years. And H appears. After 8 years, she is marrying. First of all, in the presence of H, she marries H1, but she has done in mistake of fact, believing H to be dead. First. Secondly, it is done in good faith because 7 years or will able. Third, will W be liable for bigamy? Liable. W liable? Answer is no. Why? Why? Defense है उसके पास. Defense in evidence. That is bound by law. It is bound by law. So she is bound by law, and that is she can presume that the act is dead. Try to understand the difference between bound by law and justified by law. If I take example of justified by law, A arrested B. Another example, A arrested B, ठीक है, for murder of C. However, B acted in self-defense. अब देखिए, ये justified by bound by में डिफरेंस लेने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. मैं सिर्फ पुलिस वाले का एग्जांपल से लेने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. इफ आई टेक अ पुलिस वाले का एग्जांपल, इफ आई ब्रिंग अ पुलिस वाला एग्जांपल, तो बाउंड बाय लॉ और जस्टिफाइड बाय लॉ में डिफरेंस समझिए. बाउंड बाय लॉ में ए अरेस्टेड बी believing it to be C. What is this happening? A is police officer who is bound to arrest, but by mistake of fact, in this process, in this duty, he has arrested somebody else in a good faith. This is bound by law. What do you mean by justified by law? He is acting under the duty, believing himself to act, but facts are different. For example, he arrested B because he saw B committing offense. A arrested B because he saw B is committing offense and he presumed that B is committing the offense. However, B was acting in a private defense. So what is this? B will get the defense. But what is happening about A's arrest? A's arrest is justified by law. Why it is justified by law? Because in mistake of fact, he believes A to be committing offense. Now, for example, I take our example. One example is very common, and I will try to make a difference. Police officers example. So senior ordered the junior. Some senior ordered the junior to shoot on the mob. So some police officer, senior police officer, ordered the junior police officer to shoot upon the mob, and the junior police officer shooted. Where this junior police officer will get defense? Where this junior police officer will get defense? Junior police officer will get defense under section 76 because he is bound by the order of the senior. But where this senior will get the defense? Senior may get the defense under section 79 by saying that I have been justified by law because this mob was going to be attack on unlawful assembly. Okay. Try to understand. So bound by law means you act under some pressure. Justified by law, you are not acting under some pressure. Okay? But you are acting as a conscious because you believe that it is my duty to do this. So blind obedience of law would amount to 76 in this example. Yeah. Blind obedience of law नहीं कह सकते. A senior, ठीक है? तो obedience of senior always fall under section 76. ठीक है? There is no blind obedience of law. You are obliged to follow the law. ठीक है? There is no concept of blind obedience. When something is law means you have to follow it. Mistake of law is no is not the defense. ठीक है? तो you cannot justify the law. Afsa cannot be justified or unjustified on this perspective, right? 76 and 79. Try to understand the difference between 76 and 79. So how many people have understood 76 and 79? Let us take the one more example of it. Another example of it is one more example of it. Let us take one more example. It's general life example. Suppose your teacher asks you to write the name of the people who are acting indiscipline, and you write the name of the people. This is what you are acting under. You write any name, for example, a mistake of fact. This is known as bound by law. And order of the principal that yes, I can write the names. I can give the order to write the names. It is justified by law. So someone is acting under the authority, believing in good faith. It's justified by law. Where is bound by law? Meant you presume that it is obliged. You are obliged to perform in that manner. Okay? So there is a difference between obligations and justification. So 76 applies upon obligations, and whereas 79 applies upon justified act. Right. So this is one thing. We're done. 77. These are easy, very easy to understand. What is 77? Act of judge acting judicially. Simple. This is so easy. Nothing adds to that. Act of judge when acting judicially. What do you mean by act of judge when acting judicially? What do you mean by when act of judge acting judicially? That means whenever a judge give any judgment, the judgment might be wrong, the execution might be wrong, the punishment might be wrong. You cannot make judge liable for this. You may go for appeal, you may go for some other remedies, you may go for any other actions in Supreme Court, but you cannot make judge liable for an act which he was acting while he was acting judicially. When मतलब he was acting in a judicial process, तो judge को liable नहीं कर सकते. This is not. Judge can be made liable for his personal acts, no doubt. But when he was acting as a judge, he's on the chair, he is having the cap of a judge, and during that part, he have acted. So when he has acted his judicial authority, good faith, and some wrong judgment has been pronounced or some wrong act has been done, you could not make him liable for that. You may go in appeal or review, revision, and any other case. Right, this is 77. 78. And it's also a case of good faith. Okay. 78 is very another important judgment. We know hangman wala example, everybody know. If you go for PT, this example always come where the hangman will get the defense. So if on death penalties, hangman hang the person, so where he will get the defense. 78 is the example. 78 is a person acting in pursuant of judgment. Person acting in pursuant of judgment. Pursuit of judgment. If a person is acting in a pursuit of judgment, Ayush is asking what in case of liability of a judge under CRPC, they will be protected. Ayush, I does not understand your question. What do you mean by saying judge liability of a judge under CRPC? Liability of a judge under CRPC, judge have two caps. When he is acting personally, he will be liable under CRPC, IPC, everywhere. But when he was acting judicially, you cannot make him liable for an act. For example, judge has given a wrong judgment, wrong evidence has been appraised by any judge. Okay, so you cannot make him. There is an option of being get removed. The effects can be get removed through appeal, reference, review, revisions, and so many other processes. You go into that process, but you cannot make liable for judge, right? For this. 77 pursuant of the judgment. What do you mean by pursuant of the judgment? As I say, judge judgment can be right, can be wrong. I got a judgment in which I am a hangman. Let not be a hangman. Let it be a police officer. I am a police officer. I got the judgment of a court that particular land is to be dispossessed, and this is a judgment. I go and dispossess it peacefully. Don't worry. I have not used any force and nothing. What is required, I have used that lawfully. I have acquired this. However, this judgment was wrongly delivered. Can I be made liable for person dispossessing? Answer is no. I cannot be made liable for person dispossessing because I have acted into the pursuant of judgment. Simply, if the death penalty has been given to some person, an order of hanging has been given, and the hangman hanged the person, can you made liable hangman for the murder? Answer is no, because he has acted in pursuant of the judgment. Yani ki he was acted as per the judgment. So if some person is acting as per the judgment, you cannot make him liable for. Understand? Now, so this is 78, 79 we have done. Now the very important section which I want you to is section 80. I count section 80 very important judgment on my perspective. Section 80 is a section 80. I will read the section 80 first and then right. And very important for PT perspective. Section 80. Accident in doing a lawful act. Nothing is an offense which is done by accident or misfortune and without any criminal intention or knowledge in the doing of a lawful act in a lawful manner by lawful means and proper care and caution. Try to understand. They are saying accidents are defense. This is what we study, that accidents are the defense. But if you see in detail, then you will see that the section is talking about so much. This section is talking about accident. This section is talking about misfortune. This section is talking about doing act in lawful manner by lawful means by lawful. So there are so many conditions in order to prove the Section 80 defense. So let us go and read it out. How this Section 80's defense will be created. So I will explain few words as much as first. An offense, nothing is an offense which is done by accident or misfortune. So these are the two words. They are not using only word accident. They are using two words, accident and misfortune. What is the difference between accident and misfortune? Can anyone tell me the difference between accident and misfortune? There are so many persons who are here as an advocate also. So any person who know the difference between misfortune and accident, please. Because very good. Act of God. No. Anything else? Anything else? Uh, Act of God is a misfortune. No. Anyone else who can try it? What is the difference between act of God and accident? Yes, very good. Misfortune यानी बंद मस्तिष्क बंद मस्तिष्क बद की मस्ती. ठीक है. Try to understand accident and misfortune. There is a very minute. This is something which can example. For example, Vijaya Lakshmi has given, Raju has given example. Accident is inevitable. So I will pick up from this. She is very right. Accident something which cannot be predicted. An event, an event which cannot be anticipated. Right. This is an event which cannot be anticipated. Whereas, what do you mean by misfortune? Misfortune is something which can be anticipated, which is anticipable. It is anticipated already. It is known to the person that this is going to come, but all precautions are taken. So misfortune is something which can be anticipated. And whole caution and care is being taken by a party. Try to understand. What do you mean by accident and misfortune? So section 80 is not only talking about accident. Accident is something which I cannot anticipate. For example, what I cannot anticipate right now. What I cannot anticipate is this, that this laptop will burst, and suppose this laptop bursts. This is something which is accident, cannot be anticipated. Right. What is misfortune? For example, a ceiling fan running. It is very anticipated. It may fall down. And in order to save this, it has been not bolted and everything has been taken out very carefully and cautionally. But still, it bolted down. This is misfortune. Right. For example, if I take up example, another example, if Ayush, you will listen me out. Uh, you pick up one more example of accident and misfortune. Uh, Suppose I am standing near a car and suddenly something fell from the roof and it hits me. This is something which is accident. But suppose somebody is already throwing something from the roof and he has taken all the precaution. He is shouting. He has made two people. What we see in our families and localities also, if people throw things from their roof, and in order to, as a precaution, they send someone downstairs, and he stand into the entrance of your gully, into your street, and they will ask that please do not enter into the street because some construction work is already going, and suppose this person has taken all the precaution, and still somebody tries to enter him and he throws something from upstairs and it hits that person. This is known as misfortune. This is a misfortune. So something which you cannot anticipate can happen. Still it happens, it becomes accident. And if something you can very well anticipate, okay, so even a slightest anticipation is there, even a slightest, it will be a misfortune. And section 80 give the defense of both. Don't worry. Both are defendable under section 80. So you can take the defense of misfortune or accident both under section 80. But when you will get the defense of accident or misfortune under section 80, when this is without any criminal intention. Firstly, there must not be, it must be without criminal intention. Or knowledge. When I say without criminal intention knowledge, that's saying it must not be malified. It must not be malified. And what this is, the doing of the act, or I will say omission. The act or omission must be lawful. So you must be doing lawful act. When I say lawful act, try to understand. I am having an unlicensed armed in my hand. I have an unlicensed armed in my hand, and I am trying to fill it with a gunpowder, and it shoots. This is a misfortune. But unarmed gun, filling unarmed gun is per se unlawful act. You will not get the defense. But however, if I am filling a licensed gun and it shoots, I will get the defense. So you must do a lawful act. Second, in a lawful manner. What do you mean by lawful manner? Let us take one more example of this filling of the gun. I have a license gun. Filling it is a lawful act, but how am I filling it? I am filling it with having face towards the public. So I have put the face of my gun while I am filling the cartridge to this. I have put the face to the public. This is not something which I am doing lawful manner. I am doing in an unlawful manner, right? Or I am filling a gun. I have a license gun, and I am shooting with my license gun. That is allowed, but I am shooting into where? In marriage, which is not allowed. It is unlawful manner. I will not get the defense. If somebody dies in that, I will not get the defense of misfortune. So you see marriages in India, you see people shoots. That's why I take the example. So while one person is shooting into a marriage, and he hits someone, he cannot take the defense of section 80. Why he cannot take the defense of section 80? Because no doubt he does not have criminal intention. No doubt it amount to accident or misfortune because anticipation. But what he is doing is not in a lawful manner. How many people are not having my voice clear today? I am very close to the mic right now. Ayushi, beta, difference between Ayushi is asking a difference between misfortune and accident. The difference between misfortune and accident is this: in accident, you have an anticipation. You don't have an anticipation that particular thing will happen. It is inevitable. You don't have any idea of happening of the incident. Yet your incident happened. Whereas in misfortune, you have an idea that anything may happen, but still you take all the precautions. And after taking precautions, something happens. For example, you go to, so many people go to Rishikesh and they do rafting there. So while you do rafting, they give you a life jackets. So while going to rafting in Rishikesh, they give you life jackets. So while you are going for rafting, you know there is a chance that you may lose your life or you may met up to some other unfortunate act. And in order to save you from that unfortunate act, they give you life harnesses. So they harness you with the boat and they provide you life jacket, but still, suppose somebody got drained, somebody got sank, what happened? Somebody dies, what happened? It may amount to misfortune. I'm not talking about whether it defends or not, but it will amount to a misfortune. So this is something which you anticipate something, and even on that anticipation, you take all the precautions, and even after that all precautions, something happens to you. Yeah, that act happens. That act will fall into the category of misfortune. And section 80 give the defense both the act and the misfortune, accident and the misfortune. But the accident and the misfortune must be without criminal intention. That means the person while doing that act must not have criminal intention. He must be doing in a good faith, not malified. Firstly. Secondly, the act which caused the liability must be a lawful act. Or if it is, and it must be in a lawful manner. So lawful act must be done in a lawful manner. And by lawful means, this is must lawful means. And last, with proper care and caution. With proper care and caution. That means you were not acting carelessly, you must act carefully. So if you fulfill all these ingredients, then only you will get the defense under section 80. So first of all, either you prove that it is a case of accident or misfortune. First thing. Second thing, due to this act of misfortune, whatever is happened, that was done without malified intention. It was when it was being done, it was lawful manner through lawful mediums, and proper care and cautions has been used. But for example, you see, let it be example of some fair. If you go into fair, so you have that gold giant wheels or any other jhula type. It can be anything. So let it be a banana ride. Let it be something else. Any ride. It can be any ride. So let it be a banana ride. You are having some banana ride. And when you stand up on the banana rides, you know something might happen. And you find that the person who is asking you has taken proper care and cautions. He has harnessed you, he has done everything to you, doing lawful manner. Obviously, if some happen, he will get the defense. But suppose he make you sit upon the ride and without any precaution, he start the ride and you get what? Then what? Though it will be lawful, though it will be lawful mean, though it will be lawful manner, but if there is a lack of proper care and caution, he still will not get the defense under section 80. In order to take the defense under section 80, you have to prove all these ingredients mandatorily. So section 80 is not easy. You have to prove these ingredients. Right? Clear? Hopefully clear. Section 80. Any question regarding section 80? Anyone can ask. If you're not able to understand, I can make you understand once more. Okay. Any next? Okay. Not needed. Chaliye. Next, section 81. Another very important. It is a doctrine of necessity. Necessity is a defense. This is very important. Sometimes they take consent from doing before. Ayush, that taking a consent and doing it, that will go under section 87. We will study that. That is a case of voluntary non-fit injuria. 87 onwards. So 87, 88, 89 are the categories of what you are asking for. So if you take any risk by yourself, you can then obviously they will fall under 87, 88, 89. So I'm not taking example of these 87, 88, 89, right? Let us take the defense. Necessity as a defense. 81 does not talk about general necessity. We have to read it out and try to find out which type of necessary it's talking about. Let me get and read it. Nothing is an offense merely by reason is being done with knowledge that it is likely to cause harm. First of all, section 81 में one thing is there, that the act is done. The act which cause harm is done knowingly. What is happening under section 81? What you will see, you will find that the person who has committed the offense, he knows that he is going to commit the offense. This is the defense. This is the first time you will see the defense. In earlier defense, this person is not having knowledge. He was acting in some other thing. But here he know that what I am doing is wrong. Under section 81, this person who is doing the offense is having knowledge that he is doing something wrong. But what has happened? This knowledge has been coupled with something else. They are saying nothing is merely by reason of being done with knowledge that is likely to cause harm if done without criminal intention to cause harm and in good faith for the purpose of preventing or avoiding other harm to a person or property with the knowledge in order to prevent other harm. In order to prevent other harm. Try to understand. This is known as necessity. So basically, this person, in order to prevent the other harm, means necessarily. So what has happened? This person has acted in necessity. So he knows that I'm going to cause harm to some person, but it was so necessary that without causing harm to this person, he cannot save another harm. So in order to save one harm, he caused another harm. Try to understand. Section 81, person causes harm in order to save another harm. How this is to be justified? Basically, section 80 defense is available only in order to save the bigger harm, the smaller harm is caused. Section 81 defense is available only when lesser harm is caused to prevent bigger harm. First, this is the foremost thing you must know. Section 81 necessity defense will only be available if you cause the smaller harm in order to prevent the bigger harm. When I say smaller harm or bigger harm, try to understand. Suppose a car is coming and car saw that at one side there is a child and on the other side there are 10 people, and he cannot save, either he have to hit the child or the 10 people. So this car is going on the road and such a situation arises where he find that either he have to hit or kill the child, or either he have to hit and kill 10 people. Here section 81 come into play and he says in order to save the life of 10 people you can hit and kill the 4 people. This is, try to understand. You have understand this. In order to cause greater harm, so in order to save greater harm, you can cause lesser. Firstly, secondly, this concept of section 81 necessity is available only to protect public harms and not private harms. Or personal harm, or I will say personal. In order to save yourself, you cannot kill Ali. This is not something which is saying. So I want to save. So suppose my bus, I am going in a car, and I saw a child coming upon me, and on the other side there is a some stone, right? Say it be a mountain which can hit me, or it's a valley where my this car can get in. So I have no option. Either I will fall into the valley, or either I have to hit the boy. And what I did, in order to save myself, I hit the boy. Will I get the defense of Section 81? Answer is no. Defense of Section 81 is always available only when you try to protect greater harm. In order to protect, in order to do protect the greater harm, you do the harm firstly. Secondly, in order to protect public in large, not your personal. So Section 81 necessity is not a personal necessity; it's a public necessity. So you are saving the lives of people, not yours. You cannot bargain your life with other life. But yes, you can bargain one person life with another person life, and the bargaining machine or bargaining scenario will be that the one is having more weightage than the other. And how you will realize the weightage? Interest. More interest are involved. Lesser harm and greater harm the weightage. So yeah, try to understand how many people understand necessity. So necessity means I'm little fast into this because I obviously there is so much concept also, but I'm giving the basic concept so that when you read your books, it will help you. There is so much into all these sections which I have just gone through, but I'm giving you the glimpse of each and every sections so that when you prepare for the examination or when you have any book, you can have SN Mishra. Whenever any book or Ratan Lal, Dheeraj Lal, when you read these books as a student edition, you will have an idea how to approach these books, and we approach this with these ideas. These books will be very helpful to you. So Section 81 necessity is always public necessity firstly. Secondly, you cannot use it in public. For example, if you uh, if you have done law, you have done so many examples out of which you have, if you remember one of the example, three people were there into the ship. Out of these uh, three people, uh, they decided in order to survive they have to kill one. They have to kill any one person, and so out of three, they says they find that the child, the two are male and one was a child. So they kill the child and they eat his meat for 10 days, and they get survived. And when the court, then the judgment come to the court, they plead the defense of necessity, the ground that there was no food, and in order to survive, and what was the necessity that we were two people and he was alone, so we killed him in order to save two people. Then the justice myth says, sorry, this is a private defense, or this is a private right. You cannot use your right of necessity as a private right, and you have used this child as a private right, and you cannot bargain your life with other life, and they were held liable. Okay, so you cannot use necessity as your personal right. It can be always be used for private right. Exactly, I am talking about Dudley cases, right? Veena? Okay. There are apart from Dudley, there are so many other cases also. But yes, Dudley is one example which I am talking about. You have studied in your college. Uh, so necessity must always be public necessity, right? Obviously, IPC can, if you want to read a book, Ayush is asking me. If you want to read any book for IPC, uh, what I prefer is SN Mishra. And firstly, secondly, it is Ratan Lal Dheeraj Lal. So if any people of which who has joined our webinar series, if you need any my advice, any of my advice regarding books, so you can ask me anytime. Through you have got my mail ID, ZI Judicial Legal Research Cell, or moreover you don't have that, then you have my you can have my personal ID that is known as ziajudicial@gmail.com. I'm available at ziajudicial@gmail.com, or you can like our Facebook page, Zia Judicial. I'm personally available on there, or my LinkedIn page of Zia Sari or Zia Judicial. Okay. Then also you can mail us, or you can text me, and I will be uh, telling you the books that you have to study. Uh, for example, IPC, I can say SN Mishra. For CPC, I will advise Takwani. For CRPC, I will advise Calcar. For evidence, I will advise Patuklal. What more series we have? So we have taken evidence also. We have taken CRPC this time. We have taken IPC this time. We have taken Hindu law and Muslim law. So Hindu law and Muslim law, you can go for uh, KD Gaur is there. If you don't want to go for KD Gaur, so you can go for Akil Ahmed for Muslim law. And Hindu law, I just missed the name of Hindu law book. If I got it in mind, so I will tell you. So you can go all these books, right? Let's move forward. 81. Obviously, I will be sharing these videos of all my lecture to you, but those videos which I'm sharing with you are not available forever. So please, if you want to see them within 2 days. After 2 days, these videos will per se be removed from the YouTube channel. So they will be available for 2 days only. So whenever we share a link, from the date of sharing the link, next 2 days it will be available, and after 2 days it will not be available, right? I'm coming on section 82. We know Dolly in capex. This is Dolly in capex. What do you mean by Dolly and capex? Nothing is an offense which is done by a child under 7 years. This is nothing which has to be explained. Anything done by a child below 7 years in India is a absolute defense. Whether he have knowledge, no knowledge, understanding, not understanding, nothing. He will have the defense. So this is a complete defense available to him. Right? Whereas in 83 is known as partial Dolly in capex. What do you mean by partial Dolly in capex? You have a qualified Dolly in capex. What do you mean by qualified Dolly in capex? This is nothing is an offense which is done by a child above 7 years and under 12 years who had attained sufficient understanding. So this is 7 to 12. This is qualified. Depend upon understanding. Depends upon understanding. That means in every case, if an offense is being committed by a child above 7 years and below 12 years, yeah, up to 12 years. So from 7 to 12, if offense is committed by a child who is from 7 to 12, every time, in every case, it will be tested whether he have the basic understanding of the consequences of the act or the act itself. If yes, he will be liable. If he does not have the understanding of the act or its consequences, he will not be liable. This is known as Dolly partial or qualified Dolly in capex. Right. 84 we have done. 85. This I want to do, and I was waiting for it to come. 85 is another important section for us. Intoxication. So, how many people know what about 85? Can anyone tell me about 85? It's easy. Oh, everybody know intoxication is a defense, right? But how it is a defense, that is important. So let us read section 85 and try to find out how this 85 is a defense. Let me read for you. Nothing is an offense which is done by a person who, the time of doing it, by reason of intoxication, incapable of knowing the nature of the act that he is doing, what is either wrong or contrary to law. So remember, this is there at the time of doing the offense. At the time of doing offense. Remember, Yesterday we have done the same thing as we written, same word. At the time of doing offense, incapable to know the nature of act, or incapable to know either wrong or contrary. Same like yesterday, either you prove this or you prove this. This we know, we have done yesterday. If you remember, when I was telling you unsoundness, I have told you what do you mean by incapable to know the nature. Similarly, either you prove this or you prove these two, you will get the difference. But when important section 85's importance lies somewhere else, this says provided that the thing intoxicated was administered to him without knowledge or against his will. This is known as involuntarily intoxication. This is important. Under section 85, intoxication is not a defense. If somebody told you that intoxication is a defense, no. Any level of intoxication will not be a defense. Any level of intoxication. You have drink 20,000 bottles and you have lost your mind and you commit an offense, you will not get the defense until you will not prove that the intoxication was caused involuntary, that either you was not knowing that I was intoxicated or you were knowing it but it was caused against your will. Then only the section 85 try to understand. We always say intoxication is a defense. So any person who drink or have nasha, any type of intoxication, this person which take his senses will get the defense. Answer is no. Intoxication is not a defense. Involuntarily intoxication is a defense. That means I have to prove that I was drunk, but my drunking was not due to my own act. It was either done to me unknowingly or against my will. For example, I go with my friends and have a party and drink out there with my own will, and thereby I commit a rape. And then by I take a defense. I was totally in intoxication. I was not in senses. I was not knowing what I'm doing. Doesn't matter. You are liable. You are not having a defense for section 85. What I have to prove under section 85 that at the time when I was drinking, I was not aware that the object which I was drinking is something which is having an intoxicating in nature. Understand? For example, I go to my doctor for some pain, and he told me that okay, this pain will only go. Will I have to give you a painkiller? I am injecting you a painkiller, but this painkiller will cause intoxication to you, and I agreed to that. And thereby he injected this antibiotic or anti-killer to me, anti-pain to me, and due to that I got intoxicated, and thereby I murdered someone. Can I claim the defense of section 85? Answer is no, I cannot claim, because I was knowing that this act is going to intoxicate me. Any act which I know is going to intoxicate me. For example, I go to a party and there my friends ask me, have a one drink. I resisted it and say sorry, yeah, I cannot. And they says, yeah, what type of a friend you are? You does not enjoy with us, and so many other things. Emotionally scolded me, and due to that emotional scold and emotional atyachar, I take that drink. Though I was not willing to have it, but I take it, and thereafter I got intoxicated. And after that, I commit the offense. Tell me, will I get the defense? Tell me. Answer me in this chat box. Answer me in this box. Will I get the defense? Answer is no, I will not. Exactly, Meena. Exactly, Ayushi. I will not get the defense. Why I will not get the defense? Because I was not willing to have it. देखिए, try to understand. Willingness means forceful, something which has not been uh, which has been administered to me with a force. This type of unwillingness is not the defense. So I have to prove that I was intoxicated either forcefully, that is against my will, or unknowingly, I was not even aware about it. Then I will get the defense under section 85. Right. Let us go into 86. This is a basic. I want to go into 86 because I want to explain 86. I'm keen to explain 86. At least very important, because 85 and 86 is always. How many people have issue with 85 and 86? Any person having issue with 85 and 86? I used to have issue with 85 86 when I was in my law, an early stage of my law. I was having so much of confusion in 86, 85. Vijay Lakshmi Raju, the administration of intoxication has been against his will or without one's knowledge. Is that right, sir? According, yes, exactly, Vijay Lakshmi, you are absolutely right. For the purpose of section 85, if you need to take a defense, you have to prove that I was intoxicated and that intoxication was caused to me either against my will or without my knowledge. Then only 85 will be available to you, otherwise not available, right? Now let us go. So I will remove the confusion by using two words. Intoxication, I uses 85, I uses the word involuntarily. Here I uses the word voluntarily intoxication. Right. This is the first difference. The first confusion removed. 86 is available only in the cases of voluntarily intoxication, whereas 85 is available only in involuntary intoxication. So I have drunk something voluntarily, I can take the defense of section 86. But section 86 basically not a defense. It is a presumption. Next is, it is not a defense. It is a presumption. Section 86 is not a defense as such. It is a presumption available to the court. Now, what is that presumption? Let us go and read and find it out. What is the presumption? In cases where an act done is not an offense unless done with a particular knowledge or intent, a person who does the act in a state of intoxication shall be liable to be dealt with it as if he had the same knowledge or as would have had if he had been intoxicated, unless the thing which intoxicated him administered to him without the knowledge or against his will. Try to understand. This is voluntary intoxication. What is the presumption? This is a presumption of knowledge or intention. Let me take 2 minutes to explain that. In IPC, we have offenses. We have offenses. And what are the ingredients of mens rea? Reason to believe, knowledge, and intention. These are three mens rea mostly available. They are voluntarily also and so many other also. But these are the basic three mens rea existing in offenses. So if you pick up example of 302, you find that uh, reason to believe, intention, and knowledge is there. If you pick up 378, knowledge, reason to believe, intention is there, and so many other offenses. So this is whenever any person have a knowledge, intention, or reason to believe, then he will be liable. Offenses are same. Similarly, there are certain offenses in which only knowledge is mens rea. That means that there are certain offenses in IPC. You will find certain offenses in IPC which only talks that if any person have knowledge, they are not talking about reason to believe or intent. Similarly, there are certain offenses which only talk about intention. They don't talk about knowledge. And similarly, there are offenses which are talking about only reason to believe. So if you see the IPC, you will find in IPC that there are certain offenses which talk about all three: reason, knowledge, and intention to believe. There are certain which only talk about reason and knowledge to believe. There are certain which only talk about knowledge and intention. There are certain which only talk about knowledge, only talk about intention or reason to believe. So there can be varieties of cases. Section 86 is suppose any person who is voluntarily intoxicated has committed the offense. Try to understand. This says under section 86, suppose any person has committed offense and he was into voluntarily intoxication. And offense is of such a nature. Offense is of such a nature in which either knowledge or the intention is the mainstream. This is these two. They are not talking about this. This says either it is knowledge or mens rea or both. So this is person has committed offense into voluntary intoxication, and the nature of the offense is that which required either knowledge or the intention or both as a mens rea. Then section 86 give a power to the court to presume that the person who committed the offense was either having the knowledge or the intention of the offense. This is section 86. Section 86 is a presumption of knowledge or intention. So says if a voluntary intoxication offense has been committed, then we will presume that person is having the knowledge. If they per se take away the defense of knowledge or intention, this person cannot prove. This person will not say I was not having knowledge. Presumption will be that he have the knowledge. Now burden of proof is upon him that he proves that I don't have the knowledge. Burden shift kar diya. Right. So this is the presumption upon of section 86 upon the person who commit the offense under section and under voluntary intoxication. But remember, the nature of the offense must be of such that in which knowledge or intention is per se mentioned. How many people have understand this? Understand to some extent, right? So this is general exceptions. Basically, broader concept. I try to want to go for other sections also, but we would not go for that sections. But basics we have done mostly. I can make you. Ayushi has not. Okay, Ayushi has not understand this. Let it done again. Although Ayushi, if you not understand, we will not move forward until you not understand it. Anyone else who has not understand this? Okay, done. Anyone else? Let it pick. Let it take it one more example. I am hypothetically creating the offense. Hypothetically, because this is not the right time to open the bare acts and so on. So let me. This is offense one, in which mens rea is. This is mens rea. Reason to believe. This is offense type 2, in which mens rea is reason to believe and knowledge. ठीक है, let me read for you again. फिर उसके बाद में सारा create कर दूंगा. Let me read it again, and whatever I will say, you will mark that. ठीक. In cases where the act is done is not an offense unless done with a particular knowledge or intent. A person who does the act in state of intoxication shall be liable to be dealt with it as if he had same knowledge as it would have been intoxicated person. As same knowledge. Let me pick up. Offense nature is 3. Offense nature is 3. Let me do. It includes knowledge, intention. It's offense number 4, type 4. It include intention only. Type 5. Type 5. It includes knowledge only. These are the types of offenses in IPC you will find. जिनका main three answer. What this says. Suppose A commits offense 1. A is voluntarily intoxicated. A is voluntarily intoxicated. He committed the offense type 1. 86 will do nothing. Normal. He will not be. He will not be. He will be charged normally. There is no presumption. Burden same normal burden of proof. Suppose offense 2. It is he who has committed offense 2. Here what? 86 will presume that he have a knowledge, because knowledge is the main area. In this, here will be presumption that A have a knowledge of the offense, because knowledge is the main area. Second, here also presumption is knowledge. 86 have main area. ठीक है 86 तो it will presume that he have the knowledge. Intention no. Simple जहाँ intention होती है वहाँ पे वो include नहीं करता. So the presumption 86 is only the presumption of knowledge. In the cases of knowledge and intention, the presumption is only of the knowledge only, no other presumption. ठीक है. So here also no difference. But suppose here this type of offense 86 का presumption. So this says 86 says in which offenses where knowledge is the main area. Okay, here also if you try to prove, only knowledge can be presumed. If I am not writing here, knowledge can be presumed, because I have not tell you the concept of mens rea. So knowledge is a part of intention. Intention cannot be presumed. Okay, knowledge can be presumed. So that's why I write cross here. So this is wherever knowledge is a mens rea. Okay, and the offense is committed of that type. Okay, or wherever the intention is the mens rea and offense has been committed, the knowledge of that offense will be presumed upon the accused, and it will be presumed that he have the knowledge of that offense as if he was not intoxicated. So किस type की knowledge presume कर ली जाएगी? It will be presumed as if that he was not intoxicated at the time. So 86 raised the presumption of voluntary intoxication. अभी कितना को समझा? How many people understand this? How many people have understood? Good. चलिए. Hopefully.